Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome on board. Today we're going to do a little flight from Santiago, Chile. Let me turn this to Sao Paulo, Brazil. We'll say a little flight. It's going to be rather long, but we'll see how it goes. Going to double this with doing some sound testing. We got some positive feedback yesterday on our flight, but I'm afraid that we might be getting a little bit, the ATC might be a bit weak, so we're going to see how that goes. So anyway, we've got our dispatch load sheet. Let me go ahead and get the cockpit fired up. Battery on. Auxiliary battery selector is on BAT. Maintenance is going to be on ground power because we're going to call for that. We do have ground power available, but we're going to give a few seconds for the cockpit to come to life. Standby power switch is auto and guarded. Alternate flaps are off and guarded. Fuel pumps are, wow, somebody left them on. Who did that? Fuel pumps are off. Wipers are off. Hydraulic pumps are off. Landing gear is down, 3 greens top, 3 greens bottom. So while we're waiting for the cockpit to wake up, I'm going to come over here and take a look at our sim brief. There we go. Do a fire warning test. We're going to do an in-op fault check. 2 lights, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fire check. 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. That's good. Squibs 3. Squibs 3. That checks. Let's go ground power. If somebody's joined us, give me a little comment so I'll know. Be looking for your questions if you have any. AC voltage is on ground, and we do have voltage and amperage indicating. Bleed panel is set to auto on. APU is off. Check. Electrical panel. We'll turn the cabin utilities on in the passenger seat so we can get some coffee brewing here. And we're going to turn our IRSs. We're on a line. Switch that to nav. Actually, but turn them off. Somehow they were on a line, so let them turn off. There we go. All right, so a line on DC, that's a check that each one does the right and left. Okay, now we got a line, switch them to nav. And we got 8 minutes for alignment of the inertial reference system, so that's good. Emergency lights are on. Air conditioning panel is set to auto. CDU, we'll go ahead and do our preset on that and get situated there. I'm going to go ahead and flaps are up. Parking brake is set. And exterior lights are going to be put steady. All right, so let's get our pre-flight work done here. All right, so we are 737-800 Whiskey, which is winglet. Engine ratings are 26,000. Air rack cycle is 2509, so we are current. Initial position. We are at Sierra Charlie Echo Lima. And we'll get our position from GPS left indicated, and we'll do our route, and we'll put our origin in there. We've already set our flight plan up, so I'm going to go ahead and block time is 3:30, air time is 3 hours and 10 minutes, departure at 20:43, so I need to edit this because we're going to put our departure at about 21:15. That makes more sense. I did this flight plan earlier, so alright, so let's go. Go 21:15. That's a little bit better. Okay, we'll regenerate. Okay, so let's see. So we're going to go ahead and pre-fly. I don't think there's anyone up, but we'll give it a go. At least I can have it on, at least I'll file it on VATSIM. So, all right, so Air New Zealand 363, IFR 737, Sierra Charlie Echo Lima to Sierra Bravo Golf Romeo, the Nebg 7C to Nebeg, whatever. It's a long flight, 3 hours. Okay. Okay. So I just filed, and that's done. We'll go to, let's go over to some Navigraph rather, and we can get an idea what's happening with ATC. Okay, so we'll load the flight plan. It's come in. We'll activate it, execute, clear this out of the scratch pad, look at the legs, and we're going to remove the bag out of there. We have 8 waypoints in or 8 pages. Wow. Okay, so departure. We can look at view the OFP here, which is kind of cool. Let's see. I haven't used this in a while. I don't know if I can put it right here and have it. Don't know if it's gonna, if it'll go that far. There we go. That's a little bit better, a little bit more stable. I don't know if it makes any difference to you guys, but all right. So the OFP, the Nebig 7, they're not going to give me a runway here. It doesn't look like. Yes, takeoff runway 17 right. 17 right. Nebby 7A or C, Charlie. Okay. Execute that, and arrival is going to be 10 right. Let's just try Yankee for the time being, and that's going to be the Mole 1 Delta. Mole 1 Delta and the Bucksec. Execute. Okay, so departures and arrivals are set. Let's go. Now we got 13 pages. Alright, so we got LUTPO. Put that in there. Remove, fill that in. We won't remove any vectors. Nebag. You guys probably don't experience some of this, but this is more of a prosimism. And that's the affectionate term. Okay. Route. Alright, so let's load the performance data. Zero fuel weight is 92.3. Seven right, calculate. 54 is our temp. D rate 2. Take off flaps 5. Yep, zero fuel weight 96.5. And CG is 20.1. And that gives us a trim setting of 5.16. Alright, so trim is set. Alright, so stab trims are cutoffs are verified. Alright, so let's look at our performance. What we got here? 122, 122, 131. 123, 123, 131. I like it. We'll go with that. Alright, we're going to cross check. VNav, LNav looks good. And we need 131. There we go. 131. I decided to lower I wanted to try something with, do the minimum zero fuel weight setting in SimBrief. I don't know if that'll have any negative effect or not, but I thought this is a practice flight, so why not? Alright, so let's see what we got here. 17 right. And we'll go ahead and get connected to VATSIM so at least we can hear somebody. Air New Zealand 363. Testing 1 2 1 2. Yeah, that's the transmit. Let's see. Let's try. Since it's only me here, I can do some testing without feeling like I'm wasting you guys' time. Let's do this control panel. Let's go. Alright, so the recording. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Are we getting anything that's coming through here? Let's see. Anything that's coming through? That's check, check, check. Check, check, check. Well, we're not going to get any. We don't have anybody online at the moment, so it's going to be kind of hard to. That's too bad. Thought we had some people on. Let's see. 17 right is going to be 177. One 28.4. All right. Well, maybe there'll be somebody will come on later. So for the time being, we're good. All right. So let's continue on. We've got the CDUs are set. Leading edge devices checked. Intercom phone, interphone is off. That's correct. Engine reversers are extinguished. ECCs are on and guarded. Crew oxygen pressure is 15. Passenger oxygen is guarded and normal. Flight recorder test. Mach speed 1 and 2 checked. Stall warning. Check. Landing gear annunciator is 3 greens. PSEU is extinguished. Crew oxygen flow confirmed. Lights test. Lights test is good. Flight controls are A and B guarded. Alternate flap spoilers A and B are guarded. Yaw damper is on. Navigation switches are normal, normal, normal. Displays auto sources auto. Control panel is normal. Fuel valve crossfeed confirmed, and we'll put number 1 forward on to start the APU. And window heat is on. Probe heat's on auto. Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off. Equipment cooling is normal. Mercy exits confirmed that they are off. Auto armed and guarded. Voice recorder, check. Confirm. What are we on altitude here? 41,000. 41 in overhead and 41 on the MCP. We're pretty light, so we shouldn't have any trouble getting up to there. That's maximum ceiling. Okay. Cabin pressurization is set for current field elevation, which is 1555 in case we have to come back. So 1600, check. Exterior lights are on. It's required. Ignition switches are off at the moment. Clearance is required. CDU is programmed. VHF radios are set. EFS panels, we want terrain, because you guys can't really see. Can't see the other side. We're going to turn traffic off for the moment. And we'll turn terrain off once we are on, once we get airborne. Let's do a quick check of the plan. Go to legs and step through. Boom, 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 boom. Get out. It's a long flight. Okay. Looks good. All right. We're going to squawk, since we don't have ATC, we're going to squawk 2000. We'll go to mode C for now. Santiago, I'm going to assume, is a pretty major airport. So tower is going to be 118.1. That's what we're going to talk on, 118.1. And we'll switch this to 122.8 once we're airborne. Unicom. And that's good. We're going to do... Okay, so mode control panel is all confirmed. Flight director is set, so that's good. Master. EFS is all set. We're going to be in hectopascals. Let's see if we... let's go. Back to general. Look at the weather on. All right, so Santiago is reporting 210 at 9. 170 variable 240. Cavalcade, temperature 19, dew point 4, QNH is 1019. Oh, a little bit too quick there, Bubba. All right, 1019, so we're good there. I'm going to go ahead and start the APU. So ATIS clearance, CDU, VHF radios, mode control panel is set, clock is set, nose wheel steering is guarded. Main panel lower DU selectors checked, normal both. Auto flight annunciator. 1 is 3 ambers, 2 reds and an amber. Check. PFD ND check. We have V1 showing. We have our pre-selected airspeed indicating correctly. We have our altitude reporting correctly. We're going to put our flight path vector switch on. Standby gauges are checked. Confirm artificial rising at level. Check flag, set RMI and local pressure. That's all set. Confirmed auto reference speed, or speed of ref to auto N1 set to auto check. Auto brake set to RTO check. Engine instruments confirm sufficient fuel, oil, and hydraulic fluids. We have 18 here. We can go to, and we'll turn on our electrics real quick just to check on. Yep, we have 28 plus. And number 2, we'll see what we get. We got plenty of quantity in both and plenty of pressure in both. Confirmed. Speed brake is down. Thrust levers 1 and 2. Confirmed. Parking brake is set. Fuel cutoff levers to idle. Stab trims, we did check those, but we'll turn both of those off, and trim should not work. That's correct. Reset. Cargo fire test. And for if this were turn around, we would do fire bottle squids. We'll check those again just to make sure everything's good. Transponder is set to mode C. Aileron and rotor trim is all set to neutral. APU is on, and on the bus we've had 3 minutes. We'll reset the clock. All right, so before push, we're going to confirm, leave that there. All right. Confirm zero fuel weight 92.3. N1s are set to takeoff 123, 123, 131. Confirm. Stab trim is set to 516. Check. Confirm physically and on the gauge. APU is running and bleeds are on, and it is on the bus. We can kill ground power. I don't know if it'll, I'll call them if they'll disconnect it or not. Let's see. And confirmed APU generator is producing power. All right, let's get ready to push back. I don't know, Tim, if you're watching, I like that checklist. The more I use it, the more concise and thorough it is. It'll be good to go over the call-offs when you're here. But for single pilot, yeah, this is definitely an easy way to do it for sure. Hey, Xavier. I thought you were in bed, man. Nice audio, by the way. Well, I wish I had ATC on. There's nobody down in Santiago, Chile right now that's online. So I'm going to have to wait. Looks like a little bit farther down the line we may get some other folks. Once I get airborne, I may be able to pick up these guys that are up here. If I can, that'll be great, because I want to check it. What I found yesterday was you could hear air traffic control, but they seem kind of weak, and I thought it would be better if I could adjust the volume up a little bit. I don't know if I can do that. The best way to do that's through ProSim or through the Windows audio panel, so we'll see. Not sure how I'm going to manage that at this juncture. All right. Yeah, they're hooking up the tug now. Well, actually, I'm not quite sure. I need to go back and look at a couple of the older videos because there's a little bit of what I call an echo. It's more kind of an audio reverb or something. I don't know. It's kind of when I key the mic up on VATSIM, and maybe you'll hear it here in a second. Let's see what I want to do. I want the nose to the right. All right, release parking brake. APU is on, packs are off. Start number 2. Anti-collision lights on. Spooling up. Looking for 26, and there's 26. Number 2, cut off to idle. Fuel flow established. N1 coming up. All pressure coming up. All temperature coming up. We're looking for starter cutoff and no hot start. EECs usually take care of this, so it's not really a worry. Alright, so we're monitoring N1 for hot start, and it looks like it's going to be okay starting down. So start number 1, excuse me. And 2 coming up. .26, engine 1 cut off to idle. Parking brake set. Waiting for confirmation for a good engine start. Good engine start.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Santiago traffic, Air New Zealand 363 taxiing via taxiway Golf to Hotel to Zulu for 17 right departure, Santiago traffic. There he goes. All right, so we got all engine start. Let's go all hydraulics on. We have all fuel on. Packs are on auto. APU is off. APU is off. So APU bleed is off. Engine bleeds are on. Packs are back to auto. All hydraulics are on. All fuel pumps are on. Generators 1 and 2 are on the bus, and I shut the APU off. We're going to go taxi lights and runway, and we'll do beacon once we're on the runway. We're going to go continuous on all engines. See ya. If only he could see me. All right, let's go. Aldisa, Chile. So this is a payware airport. Looks pretty nice. There's LATAM. It's pretty cool. Alright, so we're going to check our controls here. Flight controls check. That's good. Full left. Full right. Alright, full rudder. Alright, we're going to go to Zulu. So before taxi, we got all of the fuel cutoffs, engine generator switches are all on, AC voltage set to Gen 1, confirmed both generators are producing, probe heats on, check, hydraulic switches are on, bleed air's checked and auto, exterior lights are set to steady and anti-collision. We'll go to beacon once we're on the runway. APU is off. Master caution recall. Check. Flaps set for takeoff. Flaps are 5. Transponder set to TARA once we get on the runway. Weather radar. Let's check it again real quick. And we'll put our traffic on.
Monitor radar display. Go around.
Pretty nice scenery here, I gotta say that much.
Wind shear ahead.
It's well
Wind
done.
shear ahead.
Alright, and let's do our ground proximity.
Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Sink rate.
Cargo fire test. Alright, so yep, we'll notify the flight attendants as soon as we get going here. So I have a couple of special guests that are going to join us here on the flight deck once we get airborne up to cruise. Hey Giovanni. This season? Working for this session, yeah, it's so far so good. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody on VATSIM to check audio, so just kind of winging it for now. I am down in Santiago, Chile, flying over to, where am I going? Let's close this. We are going over to Sao Paulo, Brazil. One of the WorldFlight legs. All right. Let the flight attendants know we're departing. We have engine start switches on continuous. This is the before takeoff checklist, by the way. Seven right. Santiago traffic, New Zealand 363, departing runway 17 right, Santiago. Alright, so we're getting engine start switches. We're going to go strobes to steady. We're going to go landing lights on, taxi lights off.
Approaching 17 right.
Yeah, this is definitely a nice airport, nicer than the default
On
for
runway
sure.
17 right.
Alright, let's reset our chrono. Start. Go to 40%. Let the engine stabilize. Check. Toga. Let's go. TARA is on. And we'll do terrain just so you guys can see that. Airspeed alive, 80 knots. Check. Alright, we can steer with the rudder now. D1, rotate. Boy, she's a lot lighter than running at minimum 0 fuel weight. Alright. Positive rate. Gear up, auto brake off. Climbs like a banshee. Let's go flaps 2. Got a little bit of a quartering headwind, 8 knots, not too bad. And flaps up, yeah, she climbs practically empty. Let's go landing gear off. Yeah, bug up our speed to 250. What I didn't look at was transition altitude 10,000. So I like having the flight path vector on for just to give you an idea of how the plane is doing in contrast to, oh, don't need those on, don't need the center tanks on. So how it's flying in relationship to the wind. All right, let's go. VNav, LNav in command. We'll let this baby do its thing. Turn the systems off. We don't need that on. Alright, so climb. Altitude looks good. Man, this is a big area. Wow. We're getting ready to make a turn, so you'll better see all the buildings and everything down here, the houses. All right, there's 10,000. Standard. Some beautiful scenery here. Insufficient fuel. Let's see. 1.7 when we arrive. I'm just curious if this will do this while I'm airborne. Yeah, so you can kind of see the, we passed a good bit of it, but it's still pretty awesome. It may be because of the zero fuel weight, I don't know. See what that does. New season, I mean the new winter season. Now our simulator is working in the new season. So what do you mean new season for? Not following you? The new year, 25, 26, but I'm not following. What's your point when you say our simulator is working in the new season? I don't know what that means. In Flight Simulator 2024, 2020, the snow winter season changes in the simulator. I'm not following what you're talking about. Sorry. Are you referring to it working so that I can fly this winter? Oh, well, okay, yeah. Now I see what you're saying, yeah. So question for you, since you're up late, 2024, what works or what doesn't work with 2024? I know that ProSim works with 2024. I know CP Flight's electronics works with 2024. The only thing that I would think that FSC's may or may not work with 2024 would be the TQ software and the control loading software. So have y'all tried it with 2024 at all? Yes or no? Or if you have tried it, what doesn't work? Or you just don't know because you haven't spent any time on it. And the mountains are sharp. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know a few people that are using it, and if all it is just a matter of making sure that the ProSim is set up to view 2024 with its connections, might like to try it after WorldFlight just to see how it works. Because I've got a 4090 and I've got plenty of horsepower on the CPU, and 2024 is supposed to be multi-threaded, so but the only thing that we'd have to be concerned about being an issue would be the control loading software and the TQ software. Alright, so we're climbing. We've done everything on the climb. I think I'll release the turn to fasten seatbelts on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I've turned off the fasten seatbelts as we're climbing up to our cruising altitude today. We're passing 31,000 feet, going up to 41,000 feet on our way to San Paulo today. So we're not expecting any turbulence. It should be a pretty smooth ride, so feel free to move about the cabin. But I would ask you, if you're when seated, fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the rest of the flight. We'll talk to you when we get a bit closer. The electronic linking is fine. The one thing I think I needed to talk to Carlo about that is, so I can maybe give you a little bit of an example. You can see that I'm controlling the yokes with, when I move the left yoke, the FO yoke moves. So that's all done electronically. If I move it, it works. But if you try to control it over here, you notice it doesn't move the captain's yoke if the FO tries to fly. So the way to do that, and I'm in command 1. So the way to do that is you got to push the command button on the FO side to release the command and take control of the yoke. Now it's working. So now he can fly the airplane and he has control. If I try to do it, the opposite is true. See, so now I can't really control the airplane. It's heavy as all get out, but it doesn't do anything. If I want the airplane back, I have to push the button to take the control back. Enable autopilot, and that's it. So it's pretty straightforward. I spoke to a real-world pilot, and he agreed that the release of the command is fine, because if you're going to give the command of the airplane over to the other pilot, you shouldn't give it to him in an autopilot state. He should be in a free-flying mode, so he or she can control the airplane and then put it in autopilot themselves. So, yeah, no, it works great. I mean, I wouldn't fly without the control loading. I've had several people comment too that if you're retrofitting a cockpit, or if you're, let's say you have a cockpit but you don't have a sophisticated floor with linkage and everything else, and you want linked yokes, this style is great because they bolt directly to the floor. It could be your own floor, it could be a carpet for that matter, and electronically they link, and all the hardware is out of the way and under the MIP. So yeah, works great. Oh, hey, it's Xavier is asking. Yeah, well, Giovanni, I know Xavier personally. Met him at FS Expo in Rhode Island, which you guys should have been there. But anyway, yeah, Xavier, I have no problem with the yokes. I mean, if you want control load in yokes, and you don't have the floor with the linkage and all that, FSC does have a customer that does have, in the US, that does have the linked. That's John up in New Jersey. I haven't spoken to John since he started hooking everything up. Giovanni could talk about that, but unless you have all the internal linkage in your cockpit, this would be the way to go. for sure. I don't know what the price is because mine was all part of a package, so I don't know what the individual price of the yokes are today. So we have an 80 knot tailwind, which is nice. So ground speed's 523 knots. Hopefully we'll step it up even more. What's our cruise? 0.76. I think I can get up to 0.81 Mach. Put that up there in the target speed and see what it does. So even climbing at 1,000 feet per minute, we're doing true airspeed of 445 knots, 517 with the 82 knot ground tailwind. So Giovanni, I was going to tell you, this little foot air switch that you guys hooked up for me that I bought and had shipped to FSC, this was a score. Xavier, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but this little module down here, it's got two switches on it where they're both electronically hooked up. I mean, capable, they're wired. So what I did was down here in these vents, I've got some, I think they're 3-inch or 4-inch like vent fans, impeller type fans. They're down and mounted underneath the MIP to get cool air off the floor. And I've got some tubing that runs all along the side, so when I turn this switch on, it turns that fan on, and I got this cool breeze blowing up through here, like right up under my arm, so it gives some fresh cool air onto the flight deck during flight. It's pretty cool. Just flip it off and you're good to go. And I've got one on the FO side too, so his vent is set up the same way. Lola Rodriguez, hey, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I can see the chat. Thank you. Hello to you too. So once again, guys, we're just about at cruise altitude, and yeah, 0.81 Mach's going to put us just below red line, but I think that would make for a nice cruise. And now with a small fuel adjustment, it looks like we're going to have about 3.8 when we arrive, 3.8 tons when we arrive. No, 3,800 pounds when we arrive. Ton and a half, almost 2 tons. We're going to turn off the terrain, put weather on even though there's no weather out there. I'm going to bump this up to, we got a long way to go. I could probably fly somewhere else in the States tonight and have ATC the whole way, but this is going to be one of our WorldFlight legs for Air New Zealand, and I thought it would be a good it would be good practice just to get familiar with the ground, get familiar with the airspace, and the approaches coming into Sao Paulo, Brazil. Tell you what, Navigraph has done an outstanding job with their nav data. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Alright, so for some reason the only ATC we have up here is this guy. I think when I get closer, it'll come into view. Good night, Giovanni. Thanks for stopping in, Mr. Rodriguez. He's sending pictures of you and me together. Good. I'm glad you did that. Hey, better not mess with you. You're a big man. I'm 6'1". I'm 6'1". You're big compared to me. Let's see. You teach that. Good. Yeah. No, really, honestly. I messaged you back. All right. Okay, so let's bug up our heading. Get that back where it's supposed to be. So everything's looking good. We're level at flight level 410, roughly Mach 0.81, 90% on the N1. So looking pretty good. Yeah, that's good. Currently estimated 3,900 pounds when we arrive in Sao Paulo. Currently at 16,700 pounds. We are 1,173 nautical miles to top of drop, and it's going to be in about 2 hours. Yeah, roughly about 2 hours. Because we're about to turn 2,200, so 2 more hours, roughly a little after midnight Zulu time. Ouch, 21%. All right, have a good evening, brother. We'll talk to you soon. let's see. Alright, let's see. Let's see. got a little fuel light on. That's just these. It's going to be all right. $28,400. $400, yeah. Yeah, same to you. All right, so I'm monitoring the Dante Virtual Sound Card 5.6, which is what V-Pilot is coming in on. And if I could increase the levels, that would be great, but they're already at 100%. Shoot. So what I need to do is reduce the sounds of some other things then. All right, so I turned the sound down on. Okay, so I don't know where we are on the stream, so but just about it, just past CCOB. I adjusted the volume on DVS channel 3 down to about 50%, because that's where the sound of the engines and everything are coming from. Yeah, if I crank it up, it's like, whoa. Put that at about 60. Let's try that at 60. I don't think there's sound coming from anywhere else. So that's the playback of 3 and 4. I don't know where 1 and 2 is coming from. I think they're, let's see if yeah, I don't know. I think all of that's going through 5 and 6. So the audio, all right, so that's 15, 16. What is that? Let's see. I'm just checking to see if some of this sound, where some of the sound might be coming from.
Monitor radar display. Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
Okay, so the other thing that might be a possibility, if I go to my control space, this is what controls the amp. And I don't, you guys won't be able to see this unless I put it up here, so. I mean, the sound is not that bad. so I don't think anything is coming through this. Yeah, I thought there was a signal coming through to the Bose. I mean, it's not too bad. I can hear him fine. Yes, we got a long way to go, so that's why I'm accelerating this time frame. It can handle 2x, but not 4x. It starts running away at 4x. We got about an hour. Top and drop. The winds are 111 at 9. percent. Bleed air is good. Pressurization, landing altitude. Let's see. We're at 2460. Altimeters are set, recall. Exterior lights are set. We're really looking for 18,000, so this is not pertinent yet. All right, so we're coming into Sao Paulo. That's what all this bright area is here. And descending out of flight level 250 for the ILS runway 10 right, Yankee. So I know there's not a lot going on, but this is very typical of what a flight is like. So at 18,000 or 10,000, I will get a little bit busier, but right now we're cruising. -1, but there's still no need for icing. Heat. Alright, so 18,000, which we're below. We're almost at 10,000 descent. So bleed air's auto pressurization, landing altitude is checked. Passenger signs are on. Auto brakes set to 2. Recall, check. Landing data references are set. I've got 200 on the radio altimeter. We have BREF set for 122, which is our approach speed. Exterior lights are checked. We have landing lights on. Engine starter switch is on continuous check, and the EFIS panel is set with terrain. Speed brake is armed. Let's see. 118.4. Sao Paulo traffic. New Zealand 363 inbound for ILS Yankee 1 right. Descending out of 7,900 for Lowman. Sao Paulo traffic. Flight attendants, please be seated for arrival. Gear down. Flaps 30. Glide slope localizer capture. Sao Paulo traffic, New Zealand 363 inbound ILS 10 right. Oh, sorry. Check landing lights are on. Gear down, 3 greens, auto brake set, and spoiler armed. Sao Paulo is a pretty approach.
Approaching 10 right.
What value is going with that? And then how do you incentivize that? How do you structure that in your will and your truck in order to make sure those values are achieved?
My airplane.
And then, under family, right? The salary that you created was so much wealth, $100 million, whatever the number is, and you start to think a little bigger. You start to think about supporting charity, you start to think about funding scholarships, supporting local businesses, funding research. And 100 million isn't necessarily the number people are doing as well before that. You might even want to create a foundation to have a more perpetual funding mechanism for these different things that you want to fund. So, again, the size,
remaining.
And then Herbert, there's various things, and we won't spend a lot of time on this. Again, there's just so many things out there, and people can search on the internet and so on about these different things. But the educational savings plans, like 529 plans, right? And as a grandparent, you can open one and make your grandchild a beneficiary. You get some nice tax
Sao Paulo
benefits
traffic,
because the
New
money
Zealand
gets to grow.
363,
Yeah, you
exiting
can
at
compound tax
10
away.
right at
But you
Bravo
can invest
Bravo,
in individual securities
holding short of
and
10
buy companies.
left at
So
Bravo
you may be
Bravo,
giving up some of that.
Sao
I would
Paulo
also
traffic.
say that too, one of the caveats here now is what is education expenses going to look like 5, 10, 15 years from now? How is AI going to change the educational system? So as nice as these accounts are, just be careful about maybe funding it with too much money, or maybe you say I'm not going to do anything because it's too uncertain. You know, I can just fund it directly
Approaching
with
10 left.
or the grandchild. So some of these accounts look appealing on the surface, but maybe when you dig a little deeper with their situation, they may not make a lot of sense. You can donate appreciated stock, right? So you avoid paying capital gains on appreciation for charitable donations. That's another way to do it. To set up revocable trusts, they're very flexible. They can retain full control. They would probate, maintain your privacy, that you're planning for the eventual incapacity of yourself in terms of, you know, after your death. You can name a successor trustee, name a successor advisor of the trust. So there's lots of different vehicles, and on the next page of even some more, there's an irrevocable trust if you're looking to make a permanent transfer of assets and just protect your assets from creditors and lawsuits. The trust is taxed as a separate entity, so there's tax implications, but the trust is not part of your estate. The revocable trust on the previous page becomes irrevocable upon your death. So that becomes this. And you can set up all kinds of different trusts, special needs trusts, irrevocable life
Yankee
insurance
6.
trusts, charitable remainder trusts, different forms of those, craft trusts, charitable lead trusts, and generation giving trusts. Again, you can structure these to meet any kind of objective that you have. It's really quite amazing. And then for people with a lot of money, family limited partnerships can be really great, and then family foundations. So I just wanted to touch on all this just to say to people, start thinking about the future and make sure that you've got something in place that is covered for your situation. Again, we're not counting our eggs before they hatch, but sometimes with planning, the sooner you get something in place, the better off you are, particularly if it involves tax. Perhaps the sooner that you get those assets at lower value, you're getting more money out of your estate. As it stands right now, federal state tax exemption is about December 14th per person. Okay, so for a
All
company
right,
like
so we're here. We made it, everybody. Taxi lights off,
you're not going to pay
engines
the
off.
tax. If
Let's
it's
see.
more than that, then you've got some
Call for ground.
Now, I would say
Let's
this,
see.
that in 2026, that's expected to come up, that nothing has changed. So even if you are, you know, say 10 million today, and dying after the 14, well, you may not be, you know, a year from now. So you just have to be very thoughtful about the stuff and realize.
All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate you sticking with us today and making the flight. It's been fun. It was mainly just to check out the arrivals into Sao Paulo, which was beautiful. We'll be doing a few more of these, so hopefully you can join us again on another one of these flights. But until then, we will catch you on the next one. Good night, everybody.